I have a visitor with me today. No, thank you. No, thank you. He's such a ham. We'll get started in a few minutes here. Wait and see, and if anybody else joins. What's that noise, huh? This might be our last Microsoft, or I keep saying Microsoft Teams, but our last YouTube live. I'm debating, depending on what is communicated to us in the next week. I imagine there will be some more questions about the drop-off and pickup, but we haven't been told much about that yet. So I'll wait. I have a little bit of information on that. And we will just wait and see once we give everybody a few more minutes to get in here, what that will look like. But if there's not a whole lot of information, this might be the last live, and then I'll just communicate through email. There might be a little bit more, maybe one more next week, and then the last week, I don't imagine that we will have one. Just thinking in terms of content and things like that. So it is only 4:30 exactly. So I see that there's at least 2 of you in here. So I'll wait a little bit and see if anybody else joins. And then if not, I figured that we probably wouldn't have too many people now that we've kind of got it down a little bit better, and we're nearing the end, which is hard to believe. First, the sun came right out as I was. Try coming back over here. I never know how easy it is to find the live stream. I wonder if I could just. My sad little fiddle leaf in the back over there. Lou had picked off all the leaves, so I was ready to get rid of it. And then in the last few days, it's kind of sprouted some more leaves, so we're going to see how it goes. But let's see if I go to. We'll start at 4:35 if that's okay, and then if nobody else has joined, then we'll go from there. I am seeing a way to share a link, which I'm learning this now that we're getting to the very end, but I'll be able to use that for the next one. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started, and then if there are any questions that come up, that way I can kind of get you guys in and out. Here, there's only two of you, so anything that I share today that I'll try to make I don't know, emails can be so lengthy, so I will try to figure out some way to communicate this in a bullet form for everybody later on, since we don't have a whole lot of people on here. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk about was the Poetry Cafe on Friday. I did just post 2 videos on Seesaw on how to kind of hack the system a little bit and upload your own custom image to your background. Microsoft is going to allow that. They're just not there yet. So there is a simple way to, it's not super simple, but hopefully my YouTube videos will help you. It will only work on a laptop or a desktop that has the app downloaded. So if you have any interest in doing that, something fun for the Poetry Cafe would be to make your background something like you're at an actual cafe. That's something that we would usually do. We project it on the big screen in our classroom, and we'd hang lights and put the cute little tablecloths out and fill up coffee cups with chocolate milk and things like that. So however far you want to go into it is really up to you. I did post on Seesaw for the kids to share their favorite poem through Seesaw, so that way I can have a collection of them together and we can share them that way. And then that will just take place in Microsoft Teams on our Friday chat. So that's this Friday. I've tried to keep a couple things posted on Seesaw about it. So if you haven't checked that out to see if there's anything I'm forgetting right now. For our, let's see, so the parent drop-off and pickup, we weren't given a whole lot of information in terms of exactly how it's going to run. We do know that they're asking only one person come at a time. So if possible, they're asking for just one adult, no children, to be in the car, just to limit as much contact as possible. There will be a limited number of staff at the building. I believe it's just administration and things like that. People that have been designated and on quarantine, and they'll have masks and gloves and things like that. I'm going up to the school this Thursday to start packing up the student supplies and pack up the classroom and things like that. So all of their supplies will be packed up for them in a bag. Any sort of workbooks that were not picked up, I'm trying to think if there was anything, if I can determine, and of course any library books will be returned to the library unless you want to keep them over the summer. And then I'll give you that updated library list there. That date for parent drop-off and pickup, tentatively, I'll say that because I'm not sure if it's supposed to go out yet or not, but it's got, we were told May 19th will be that day that you'll go and pick up supplies, and it'll be a drive-through. And that'll give you the option to, if you have anything at home that needs to be dropped off, anything that belongs to me or the school for whatever reason, you can drop that off as you pick up their supplies. It'll have some end of the year things in it as well. Just a little gift from me. And then all of their books, all of their notebooks, that sort of stuff will be in there as well. So I'm sure that Mr. Vance is working on some sort of communication with that if it hasn't gone out to you guys already. They're trying to do it in the safest way possible. Which leads me to grades will be posted next Friday. I'll probably assign the lessons tomorrow instead of Thursday or Wednesday possibly, so that way students have a chance to get them done. I hope that's not too loud. And then they'll have the following week to make up any assignments that have been missing, or redo it if they want to redo it, that sort of thing. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time on Seesaw, where I'll post it for you to see, and then you can make that call and let me know what you think. Which means that this Friday is the last day that any of our assignments are to be due. So anything such as Seesaw activities, the choice boards, the practice pages, iReady lessons, things like that. iReady will be available all summer long, but in terms of those assigned lessons and things like that, this Friday is it. So we still want to continue those last 2 weeks. That's time for the teachers to get in our classrooms, and it's time for us to collect those missing assignments and figure out who we still haven't heard from, that sort of thing. You guys are doing awesome, and I only have one, and we've been in contact about iRead versus iReady and all of that. So what I've gone ahead and planned, we usually do our virtual field trips at the end of the school year. And that's where we did a little bit at Christmas time, and we do them. We go on these virtual field trips to places all around the world and learn about that particular place. So at the end of the year, since we're doing all of our animals, we study biomes, and we study the biodiversity of life, and we study things like the coral reef and the savanna. And we just make it a really fun experience for the kids. So we highly encourage them to dress up. We give them clues so they can figure out where they think we're going the next day. And they'll come to school with like a big puffy coat in the middle of summer, pretty much, because we're going to travel to the Arctic. So we're going to try to do that through Microsoft Teams. We're doing a collection of resources and things like that. So you've got extra videos, you've got extra articles and things like that. But in terms of any assignments, there's not going to be any. Obviously, the kids are really into PowerPoint right now, and making posters and sharing their learning anyway. So if that's the kind of thing where they're really fascinated with coral reef and they want to do a project on that, they're more than welcome to, obviously. I highly encourage them to explore things on their own and what they're passionate about. And hopefully they've been really into this nonfiction unit. So hopefully right now they will still want to continue that. And we're just going to take the virtual trips together through Microsoft Teams. So instead of having a math lesson, we'll have a trip to Antarctica or something like that. So that'll be something that I'm going to communicate a little bit more of to you guys. We're working on the formatting of it for next week already, which is when we would start. And I'll give you kind of the parents' version and the kids' version where they maybe will have to guess where we're going the next day. And then in their goodie bag, they'll have some supplies, the last day luau. We were talking about doing a little celebration online. It's still very tentative. We're trying to figure out exactly how it would work, but just a Microsoft Teams meeting. They can wear, we're going to give them leis and a couple little things that go with it, and they can wear that for the last day luau online, where we can just celebrate being a class once again. There are a couple activities that they're working on for 5th grade, including a drive, which we've been trying to get going for a while, but we just got approval. So where it'll be a parade for the 5th graders. I'm not sure if that means that what the route is. I know they were working on that and who all is going and things like that. But if that's the case, then I would definitely let you guys know so that I can do a quick little wave by. For you don't have to be a 5th grader, just want to say hi, that sort of thing. So if as we get more of those dates, there's apparently something that's a surprise, so we haven't gotten like a schedule or anything yet, and we're trying to figure that out. As soon as hopefully we'll have more information on that soon, for what those kind of big events sort of thing looks like for those last couple days of school. But our plan is to do these trips for the next 2 weeks to kind of give them something to keep them excited, keep them motivated, but still have a lot of fun with it as well. So I think that's hit up everything in terms of my plan. I'm trying to think if there's anything. We did a pretty good job right before we left, making sure that there were no coats or lunch boxes or things like that left. We kind of had that heads up knowing that we came back on Thursday and then we're out that Friday. So if your student is missing something, I can try to check the lost and found. You just have to let me know what they're missing and I could do that. But otherwise, their bags will just have end of the year treats and their school supplies. So if there's anything else that you're thinking might be missing, just let me know and we'll get that. And as I said, I'll check for the library books on Thursday and then send that updated list on Thursday for anybody that needs to check the library books. Miss Fowler said it's okay if you want to keep them over the summer, so you would just need to let me know ahead of time so I could put them in their bags. So I see 2 more people just joined. If there are any questions, I'm kind of wrapping up so far what I just covered. I can stay on for a little while longer and kind of go over those briefly with you. We just talked about Poetry Cafe. We talked about parent drop-off and pickup day. We don't have a lot of details on it yet, but for getting your supplies will be May 19th. Tentatively, if anything changes, we'll communicate that. And as far as what it looks like, I know Mr. Vance is working on something for you guys. This Friday will be the last day for all grades. They will still have a chance to redo or make up any assignments the following 2 weeks. Will be the following 2 weeks with that being said, since there will not be any grades or graded assignments, we still have some activities planned with some virtual trips and things like that. So we'll share that out with you guys for next week. And then on the last day of scheduled school, we'll have a last day luau where we'll just kind of get together and chat for a little classroom get together. We know it's very different than how we would normally celebrate the end of the year, but we'll do the best that we can and try to have fun with it. So if anybody has any questions, just leave them in the comment section. Otherwise, that was kind of what I have for you guys. I don't want to keep anybody that's been here. If you are ready to go, it's kind of what I always tell the kids. I'm like, I can do more, but if you're ready to go. But yeah, so it's kind of crazy that we're already at the end of the year. It really flew by. So if there are any questions, I will stay on. If you have anything that you want me to go over a little bit more in detail, maybe you're one of the people that just joined or just got on and maybe missed it or something like that, just let me know again in the comments and I'll go over it again. The school library book list if we want to borrow books. In the email that it has Miss Fowler's email address in there that I sent with the list of books currently. I would email her in turn. I'm not sure if she has some form. I'm not exactly 100% positive, but I would email her directly. And then she can get you access to what you might be interested in terms of borrowing some. She had said that in the email that if you're looking for some resources for the summer to let her know. So I would just reach out to her directly and then she can pull them and then she'll probably leave them with your child's bag. So every student in the school is going to have one of these bags and then they're going to write their name on the bags or their names are already on I'm not exactly sure of that. I'll find that out on Thursday. And then Ms. Fowler can either leave them for me or leave them for the student. So we're all wearing masks when we go into the school and disinfecting and wearing gloves and things like that as needed. For particular instances, I did just read an article about how not to wear gloves because you're cross-contaminating. So there's always, a right and a wrong way to do things. And then the next day it's the opposite. So just we're going to be as safe as we can. I can't tell you the last time I left my house. We're about down to nothing for groceries, so we're going to go do that tonight. But we're going to, for the drop-off and pickup, they're going to request that it's only one parent and no students allowed, and it'll all be in your car. So we'll keep that as safe as we can. But yeah, I would reach out to Miss Fowler if you're looking for some extra books for the summer. You'll also still have access to Epic. So the students will have those digital books. I know there's nothing quite like having the book in our hands, and I'm not sure how. I mean, things opening so tentatively. The libraries will be back open. I'm not sure, but definitely you'll have that digital library through Epic as well. So. A lot of noises going on out there. I'm not sure what's going on. Lou's checking them out. All right, so like I said, I'll post like a bullet point email. I tend to get very wordy in my email to make sure that I can answer questions as needed, but I'll try to just bullet point it so you can scroll down to anything that you might think you need. I'm going to hold off on sharing information about the parent drop-off and pickup date, waiting for Mr. Vance to forward us anything specifically about that. I know they were working on a route and they were working on the most efficient way while being as safe as possible as well. So I will send a little bit more about the Poetry Cafe, grading, our last 2 weeks, and what those look like as far as I know right now. I know there's a couple events that the specials teachers are trying to see if they can get to. It's all tentative right now. So I'll share what I know, and then we'll chat again soon, and I'll share what I've learned. So. But thank you guys for joining. Like I said, I'll do just like we do before. I'll stay on for a few more minutes in case if you guys need anything or think of anything. Again, always email me. And if I haven't responded to your email, please just resend it to me. There's a lot of changes going on for next year. So there's a lot of emails coming about teachers moving classrooms, moving grades, things like that. So trying to keep track of everything and what's important with grading and things like that. So if I miss your email, know that I've probably read it and intend to reply. But if you need a reply or you're worried I haven't replied, oh my goodness, that's so loud. Just forward it to me. Maybe we'll have a social distancing party in our in a few weeks here in the summertime. We can get together and keep it as safe as possible. I've heard several different things about what next year could look like. So we're just gonna all, hope for the best and try our best and keep everyone as safe as possible. And that's the biggest goal here. So although I'm sure your kids are feeling a sense of disappointment about the end of the school year, I know I am. We're gonna make the best of it. So we'll do some virtual things and have some fun. But, yeah. Anyway. Uh-oh, the next door neighbor's dog's going to start barking here in a second now. So I hope you guys have a great afternoon, great evening, and a great rest of your week. And I'll talk to you soon.